Alright, all you graveyard shift racers out there, welcome back to Under the Radar. And this week's Stunts of the Week, and we decided to go with two for this week again, folks, comes from none other than Vortex BMX with his stunt Project 167, and to also Pt.4 4569 with their stunt Ep. or P. Either way you say it, folks, the reason why we decided to pick these two stunts, well, the first one, the guy did not give up until he made his goal of landing on the other side of the rooftop of the building, and would do so by doing some cool Tony Hawk moves to do it, which is always impressive. And the reason why we picked the other stunt, well, if anybody could be that cool to make a one-handed wheelie land to the ground still while doing the wheelie and still maintain his cool composure, it's always cool in our book as well. And speaking of things that are cool, folks, I think it's time for us to get ready to rev our engines and check out a couple of these ice-cold cool tracks as we leap into yet another edition of the GTA Online Top 5 Tracks of the Week. And the first track that we have up comes from the creator Beno Su with his said track AFU 55 Degree Adrenaline Rush 2. And yes, Maestro, I said adrenaline rush, and this track does live up to the hype of an adrenaline rush, and it's worthy of its predecessor. And why is that, folks? Well, besides the 55-degree angle slope you take down for the said track, the fact that once you make your way up a 90-degree angle hill and even shoot your way down a squiggly path that will cause you to fly off the track because it has no barriers, will definitely get your blood pumping when you do this said track. And the only tip of advice we have for you fans out there for this said track, unless you watched a whole bunch of action movies and know how to drift, make sure you don't hit the throttle while making your way down this track. Because if you do, there's a high possibility you will slip off because you'll get a case of the speed wobbles and fly right off. So be careful. And the next track that we have up, once again, comes from Beno Su with his said track, #AFU, The After Party. And this track, folks, I'm not gonna lie to you fans at home, probably was one of the most difficult tracks we've done this year, but the reason why it made it in, because I was devoted and hell-bent to beat it. And the only tip of advice we have for you fans out there, besides a whole bunch of wall rides that you have to stay centered on, is to make sure you keep focused and stay centered on the center of all of those loop-de-loops, including the Hot Wheels cross loop that you would have to do against your friends. And also be careful of your friend's slipstream behind you, because that will ruin your momentum. And oh yeah, according to the Maestro, we should have said in the beginning, momentum is going to be your friend to clear that one stunt. Because if you can't clear it in one go, you have to go all the way back to the beginning and do it again. So practice makes perfect, folks. And definitely be careful while doing that stunt, because it will take a matter of time to finish. And the next track that we have up comes from the stunner AK Nico 47 with his said track, Cara e Cara #Del Perro. I do not know the translation, and I think it's car and Del Perro, whatever that means, which, folks, the reason why this track made it in for this week, besides me laughing at my poor Spanish skills, let's just say it involves you in a transformation race against your friends that will leave you in a situation that if you're not fast enough, you will get pushed off the road. And the only tip of advice besides that, folks, we have for you at home is to make sure you find out where in the world the speed boost is lurking while trying to avoid the stop signs amongst the madness of this point-to-point race. And if you're able to do that, you will win this race. And the next track that we have up comes from Mozilla87 with his said track, NASCAR North Whitesboro 500. And this track, besides giving you the ability to use every vehicle across the board with the exception of the special vehicles with weapons, let's just say this track is a definite favorite of mine, and the only tip of advice we have for you fans out there for this one is make sure you don't spin out on the turns. Because if you do, let's just say your opponent will catch up with you and lap you and cause you to lose this race. And if you're wondering how I know that, because it happened to me just not 24 hours ago. So yeah, definitely beware of those turns and take them with pride, because if you don't, you will lose this race. And speaking of dangerous turns in the race, folks, the last but not least race that we have up for this week comes from the creator, Smeekin' Bowls, with his set race, Fish and Chip Circuit. Nice name for the track, too. And the only tip of advice we have for you fans out there, besides watching out for those hairpin turns, is definitely watching out for your opponent. Because there are certain parts of this track that does overlay with each other, and if you're not careful, yeah, you could end up going to Red Lobster with a T-bone steak bill the size of a CVS receipt. So be careful during this set track and choose your car wisely. And I guess with that said, folks, wraps it up for this week's edition of the GTA Online Top 5 Tracks of the Week. And if any of you race fans out there wants to play all the tracks we listed, plus a couple of other great tracks in a last man standing map to go along with it, you can head on over to the Rockstar Games page, only known as socialclub.rockstargames.com, and search for the job entitled Dream Jumper to try this track amongst others for yourselves. With a grand prize cash total of well over, depending on how many people you add, give or take about $100,000, probably $200,000 in your piggy bank from these races. So good luck, guys. And I guess with that said, we might as well head back into the music one more time. And when we return, we'll be back with the final segment for Under the Radar for this week, right after this. So don't get lost in the madness just yet, folks, and stay tuned.